We all are having almost 30 days in hand now, isn't it? And in this video, I am going to talk the holistic plan which you are going to follow in last 30 days. To memorize the standard graph or the data, you actually need to be intelligent enough? I think answer is no. I wanted to give you a very positive hope that each one of you has to have this spirit that I'll make through this exam, and that too in January attempt only. We approach towards the last stage of the exam, we become more nervous. We always wants to go with a feel factor that I have completed everything, but not required. Have this attitude, most focused versus no skip attitude. And what does it mean? Let me tell you. Hi, good afternoon, vanakkam. My name is Sanjay, and today I am here to discuss last 30-day strategy for JEE 2025. I know most of you are looking for a video which gives a one-stop solution, be it in terms of last 30-day strategy, be it what to be avoided and which topic to be given more importance, or maybe how and what should be your day schedule in last 30 days. And let me give you an assurance, after spending 15 to 20 minutes with me, you all are going to have a very crystal clear plan in front of you, and which will eventually take your preparation to the next level, right? So in this video, I am going to discuss the importance and the practical plan to follow in last 30 days for JEE 2025. But before I start this discussion, let me tell you a basic example so that you all can consolidate, because nowadays lot of emotions, lot of questions may keep hovering in your mind, isn't it? So to stop all such thought process and to ensure you are absolute concentrated in this video, let me take one example. I believe as a science student, you all must have heard about a rocket launch process, isn't it? The rocket launch process has three major steps. One is the design, second is the assembly, and third is the testing. And these three steps sometimes takes years, isn't it? But what is the most crucial process which defines the overall success of this entire rocket launch process? Is the launch itself. Yes? So if the rocket launch, and which happens in the last minute, in the last few days of the all process which have been happening since last many years, be it the trajectory, be it the speed or the thrust, whatsoever is the aspect, in the last minute, certain crucial parameters actually defines the success of rocket launch. And your JEE preparation is somewhere very much correlated with this example. Yes or no? Your JEE preparation must have begun maybe a year back, maybe a 2 year back, or maybe you have started learning and reading for this examination very recently. Whatsoever is the case, but the last 30 days are actually going to give the actual shape to your preparation, to your final attempt at the next level. So that is the reason to decide and to define a very, very holistic and I would say a bulletproof program which is going to take your JEE preparation to the next level in last 30 days. So without any delay, let's get deeper into this story. At this point of time, there might be some students, those who are still thinking that should I actually give January attempt seriously or not? Anyway, I am having the second attempt which is going to happen in the month of April. So should I be really serious in the Jan attempt? Let me tell you. Before I answer this question, I want each one of you to remember the day where you all were sitting with your parents, with your teachers, with your mentor, and you have decided that I am going to write JEE 2025 with full pace of preparation. And that point of time, there was no such decision that will I be serious in the month of January or in the month of April. Yes or no? So I believe at this point of time, none of you are having a single dust point in terms of doubt where you are still thinking that should I be really serious in the January attempt or I'll give April attempt with more seriousness. And let me tell you, if somewhere you are thinking, so what if you write January attempt with utmost seriousness? We all are having almost 30 days in hand now, isn't it? And in this video, I am going to talk the holistic plan which you are going to follow in last 30 days. If you incorporate this plan in your day schedule, I can assure you that your preparation your stage of marks is going to be at the next stage. The learners with whom I am talking at moment, there are few learners, those who are still struggling in the marks range of, let's say, 50 to 60. Yes, there may be one category of student, those who are watching this video, their mark range could be 60 to 90, and maybe some are doing decently well in the exam, whatever examination pattern you are following, whatever test series you people are following, right? I would say each three category, whatever I have mentioned, has the 100% possibility to clear JEE attempt. 100% possibility. And let me tell you how, right? But before I get into the how aspect, again I would say the last 30 days are going to play a significant role in your preparation. So if there is a question, if there is a thought in your mind somewhere about JEE attempt and April attempt, let me consolidate. You should be at most serious in your January attempt only, right? Be it in terms of preparing for the JEE Advance, or be it securing your seat in NITs, right? Through the second attempt, whatsoever is the case. And here I am talking about to qualify JEE Main. Based on the recent years, if you score 120 plus, there will be higher chances that you qualify JEE exam, right? JEE Main exam. And to score 120 plus marks in this exam, per subject if I talk, so physics is the subject. If you see the trend subject wise, so students fairly score in physics and chemistry rather than in mathematics, right? So let me tell you, for example, in physics you target 50 marks, chemistry you target 40 marks, mathematics you target, let's say, again 40 marks or maybe 35 marks, whatever ratio you can plan, right? But what I'm saying, 50, 40, 40, this is a basic correlation which you all can adopt. And if you see the last year analysis of any year of JEE Main question paper, NTA itself has given this a marking that in your JEE attempt, almost 40 to 45% questions, 40 to 45 I am talking about, this percentage of questions falls in the category of easy. And how do we define easy term? Easy means something which is formula based, right? Something which is a very standard data, or it could be a graph as well. That's how we define easy, isn't it? Which is purely based on the fixed data. You don't need to think about the varieties or about the application aspect. And this is the percentage. What I'm saying, score 50, 40 and 40, still you have chances to reach 120, 130 plus. I'm talking about this category, isn't it? And to score all these things, I don't think there is a factor of intelligence required. Many of the students lives in this wrong perception that, sir, I am not intelligent enough to clear JEE Main. But do you think to memorize the formulas, to memorize the standard graph or the data, you actually need to be intelligent enough? I think answer is no. So I wanted to give you a very positive hope that each one of you has to have this spirit that I'll make through this exam, and that too in January attempt only. Yes, so I can give you lot many reasons that why you should be absolute serious in the January attempt. But when it comes to April, yes, you should definitely give a try for the betterment to scale up your marks, so that if in this exam you are somewhere landing, let's say 130 to 150, you can definitely target for 200, 210, that score in the April attempt, isn't it? And that will give you assurance to get a seat in NITs, isn't it? So whatever aspect I am going to talk about, it is going to be very, very practical. So I believe all of you are sitting with this clarity now that you all are going to write January attempt with utmost seriousness, right? But now I believe that question is clear now, right? So let's proceed further in our journey. The second and foremost thing is, this is the time where all of you will be getting lot of ideas, lot of inputs. You all are surfing so many videos, and every expert comes and give different strategies that do this, do that, isn't it? And there will be some element in your life. At this point of time, they will enter and they will say, have you solved this book? Have you solved that book? That book is very famous. And to validate it, whether the person is saying correctly or not, you are going to ask this emotional question even from Google. And what question you are going to type on Google? You will ask, suggest me the top recommended books for JEE. And Google is going to list all the books which is absolutely running in your mind at moment. What is the reason? Google work on data science, isn't it? So people have somewhere given the ratings that this book is good. But what I'm saying, this is the time where you not need to take any such inputs. Whatever study material, whatever testing pattern which you are following in your coachings, I would strongly recommend please continue doing that. In addition to a beautiful coverage of NCERT. Yes. So at this point of time, you should not allow anything, no book in terms of any reference book, no new DPP, right? No new pattern of questions. I'm talking about new pattern of questions, right? Obviously, you are doing lot of questions on a daily basis, but I would say no new pattern into this. If you know this application is not being asked so frequently, you don't need to touch, right? You don't need to get into all this. So it is very, very important that you are absolutely not welcoming any such step which is giving a question mark in your preparation, right? I know all of you are being, given lot of inputs with so many people with whom you are surrounded with, be it your family, be it your teachers, be it your colleagues. And this is the time where you need to be surrounded with the people who gives the inputs which enhance your confidence. The people who are not telling you that have you done this, have you done that. No such checkpoint, right? So it is very, very important that at this stage you are not welcoming any new material, right? I hope you are getting my point. And many a times I have seen when we approach towards the last stage of the exam, we become more nervous. We always wants to go with a feel factor that I have completed everything, but not required, isn't it? Your class notes, your class DPPs, your module and NCERT will give a one-stop solution to your preparation. So this is the time where you need to stop searching anything on Google, where you need to stop getting access to any new material. It's very, very important. I have seen so many students, they get into this and they get disturbed, they get deviated completely from their track, and which results absolutely with lower marks in JEE exam. So I believe you are not going to make this mistake in your preparation, right? So coming to this aspect, most focused versus no skip attitude. This is very, very important. You all are watching so many videos where somebody comes and say, these are the topics which you should avoid. These are the topics where you should put absolute focus, right? And every expert is talking with their understanding and what makes sense to all the learners. It's absolutely correct. But what I'm saying, have this attitude, most focused versus no skip attitude. And what does it mean? Let me tell you with an example. If I talk about certain topics, let's say rotational motion. I know all of you like this topic. Yes, rotational motion. This topic gives always different level of vibes and goosebumps to the learners. But unfortunately, the weightage of this topic is quite decent. In green color, I have mentioned the topics whose weightage is much, much higher in the previous year of in last 10 years, right? So if you see particularly the topic rotation, 54 questions have been asked so far and average is 1.6. So on an average, you can consider 2 questions every year in JEE. But most of the learners, they say, I really don't like this topic. This topic is not my cup of tea. But do you think having this answer in your mind will really help you to get something out of it? I think answer is no. I'm absolutely okay if there is a question from rolling motion. If suppose your preparation is not at that level where you absolutely dislike this topic, it's absolutely fine. If there is a question coming from rolling motion, you have not touched this subtopic, it's okay. But what if a question comes from a subtopic called moment of inertia? Are you still going to ignore this? Yes? Tell me, are you still going to ignore it? Answer is no. And if you will see the weightage of moment of inertia, it's absolutely very high, right? So what I'm saying, it's absolutely fine. You live with the perception that, sir, any question comes from rotation, I'm not going to touch. Rather, you would say, okay, if any question comes from a subtopic, let's say toppling, let's say rolling motion, I might not be so confident to deal with this question, but if any question appears from moment of inertia, I'm not going to leave that. Reason being, moment of inertia has no physics involved. Yes, it's absolute application of a very simple formula, I is equal to mr square, with a good association of parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. It's purely a mathematical concept. So what I'm saying, it's okay you live within a perception that there are certain topics where you don't get that level of emotions, that level of feelings. But what I'm saying, get into these subtopics and whichever you can easily do, please do that. So what I'm trying to say, rather living in a perception that don't do rotation dynamics, I would strongly say, okay, you don't do this. But what if there are certain subtopics which are easy to do and they have good weightage as well? Are you still going to say that I'm not going to touch rotation motion? I think answer is no now. Yes or no? So this is one thing. Second thing, there are certain topics, for example, waves. And the topic name and the thought process in your mind absolutely are on the same stage right now, isn't it? When I say waves, there are so many waves which are, propagating in your mind. That there was a chapter called waves, but unfortunately I couldn't understand anything in this. Absolutely fine. If you have that stage, it's absolutely fine. What I'm saying, please memorize all the graphs of this particular topic, all the formulas, so that, as I mentioned, 35 to 40% category comes from easy. And easy means standard formalization, graphs, statements. And if you have the formula, you can substitute the values, you can still get the answer. It is as similar as you need food, doesn't matter the way it is going to digest. Getting my point? So there are certain topics where you don't need to be so serious, where you not need to be having that level of realization and the feel factor that, sir, I don't want to, I could not get that level of feel in this topic. It's absolutely fine. Get into the objective approach, right? So there are certain topics which seems to be very difficult, but what I'm saying, focus on the subtopics. There are certain topics where you can memorize the formulas, you can memorize the standard graph, but still you can get it done, right? And I have listed certain topics over here, and you can say number of questions asked in last 10 years, and you can see the weightage. Wave optics, capacitance, right? Rigid body dynamics, starting from modern physics, right? So modern physics is also the topic which comes with lot of fixed pattern, if as far as JEE main is concerned. So I believe you understood what does I mean to say most focused versus no skip attitude. Getting my point? So it's better to get into every chapter, every subtopic, rather leaving the whole chapter in one go. I know at this point of time, you might get lots such inputs where somebody is saying, do not even touch this topic. But I would say that's absolutely fine. but can you try with some subtopics of that particular chapter? And you will find it's very, very useful. And imagine you are living in a perception where you are going to solve, you are writing JEE main exam, and there is a, you are living, you are solving the question paper with a perception that any question come from rotation motion, I'm not going to, even see that question. Now your perception has changed. Now you are thinking, if there is a question coming from moment of inertia, I'm not going to leave that question. Getting my point? So which one is better? Obviously the second one. So I'm okay. There are certain head topics where you don't get that level of understanding, but absolutely fine. Better you search for these subtopics, right? So this is the second thing which I wanted to say, most focused versus no skip attitude. So there are certain topics where you need to have an exclusive focus. I have listed the topics over here. You can say modern physics, current electricity, thermodynamics, electromagnetic field, electrostat, rigid body. These are the topics which comes with high weightage, but I am saying no skip attitude. So I am trying to say, do not skip any chapter, at least some of the subtopics of that chapter, right? If you have this balanced attitude, believe you me, one question contribute a lot in your success. Imagine you are going with a perception that any question, not at all. Now your perception is, if any question come from moment of inertia, this question can make you, this question can break you. Isn't it? That's the definition of any competitive exam. So I believe you got this understanding that we are not going to skip any chapter. Rather, we are going to deal with some subtopics. Maybe the whole chapter is difficult, but some subtopics can really contribute good in your success, right? So moving to the next aspect, special focus on standard graph. If you will analyze, last at least 10-year question paper, and if you will see 2022 onward, especially 2022 to 2024, you will get ample amount of questions which are being designed from graphs. And whenever it comes from the graph, there are two types of question. One, the graph could be very standard in nature, no further variation is possible. And second would be the variable one. For example, if I talk about a question in thermodynamics, so in thermodynamics, I will give you a graph, I will give you some data, and I'll ask you to calculate maybe the heat released, maybe the work done, or maybe what is the total heat absorbed in the process, right? So you need to play with the data. But what if I say there is a graph and you need to tell me that which is the best matching of this position represented in terms of graph? Means the graphs are fixed. Topics like modern physics, I'm listing some topics which you can highlight. Modern physics, so many graphs have been asked in the previous attempt, and all the graphs were almost static in nature. Means they were already present in your textbook, in NCERT, in your notes. Modern physics. Then there are certain topics like simple harmonic motion, SHM. They'll ask a graph, a correlation between displacement and velocity, acceleration versus time, kinetic energy, potential energy, total energy. So there are so many graphs which are fixed in nature. You can absolutely give a absolute focus in this. Certain graphs in wave optics, right? Very much fixed in nature, right? Then EM waves. You can still deal with this chapter, especially from the graph aspects. So what I'm saying, whenever it comes to the graphical knowledge, you should know whether the graph is from the standard category or variable category. Standard means there are certain topics. Variable can come from any chapter, let's say thermodynamics, let's say mechanics, right? Where they will give you a situation and they'll ask you to calculate certain aspect. But what I'm saying is still, you should give an exclusive focus to this aspect of graphical knowledge. The moment you are going to solve JEE 2025, the very first thing which you are going to search, is there any question related to graph or not? Yes, because you have given an exclusive time to prepare that aspect. And imagine there is a question which is coming from a standard category from modern physics, right? how much time it is going to take to click that answer? Maybe 20 seconds, max to max, because this time you are taking just to read the question. You already know which graph is the correct explanation. 20 seconds plus 4 makes lot of sense. So please give an exclusive focus to this graphical aspect, right? Coming to the next, test strategy. I know many of you are still awaiting that, sir, how we should really plan our revision in these days. And I would say writing the test is the best strategy for revision. If you want to revise something, write the test. Because test is just not only having a definition that test means performance, performance means future. No. Test is an assessment, test is a process which helps you to understand what are the areas you are good at and what are the areas you need an improvement. Isn't it? And I have seen so many students, they are very active in the class, they are very good in revision, but when it comes to test, they always make some excuse and try to avoid writing the test. And I always says, if you want to do a very good revision, write a test. Revision does not mean that you have a notebook and you are turning the page. That is not revision. That is just a kind of reading. Revision means you have learned something, you are just closing your eyes and recalling all the possible data. Whatever you can recall without seeing any resource is called revision. Revision doesn't mean you have lot of material lying in front of you and you are just turning the page and saying the next day morning to your teachers that I have revised this topic. That's not the real process to revise a chapter. So please make a strategy. Do not incorporate any new test series at this point of time. Whatever you are writing, whatever is the existing test series you people are writing, please keep doing that. Please keep doing that. Do not welcome any new test pattern, any new test paper in your life, at least for 30 days. You all have done a fantastic job, a tremendous work in last 1 year or maybe 2 years for this particular day. You cannot just get down, you cannot just get demotivated after seeing some set of new questions. Don't do this, right? So when it comes to test strategy, first thing I would say, adopt this activity as the best way of revision. Second, do not welcome any new test series at this point of time. Whatever you are writing, keep doing that. And at this point of time, have a habit to write one test, that is full syllabus test. One full syllabus test on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Take exact time which is being provided to you during your JEE exam. Take exactly that time. Ensure your environment is being designed in a way where you have no disturbance, no one is coming and disturbing you. You are not getting off from that place and going somewhere to take water or some rest. No. Start to have that temperament of that particular period which you are going to live at on your final day of exam. So one full syllabus test on a daily basis. This can be your previous year question papers as well. In previous year question paper, rather just hitting for the solution, try to understand the pattern, because it will eventually help you to understand what could be the new pattern in 2025, right? So test strategy is also one of the important parameter. And whenever you write a test, we commit a lot of mistakes. Mistakes are part of life. But what remains the heart of life? Your exam JEE 2025. So do not get demotivated if you are still making the mistakes. It's a good sign, right? But what I'm saying, try to shift your focus on the accuracy now, because this is the time where you wanted to know if I have learned a particular concept, whether that concept is resulting into the correct answers or not. Rather, you are using any hit and try method and marking a particular question. Don't do this, right? So whenever you are writing a test, let me tell you, we generally commit 3 types of mistake. 3 types of mistake. So in the previous slide, I have told you what should be the test strategy. Today onward, whatever test you are writing, please do this. Whenever we write any exam, any test, we commit 3 types of mistake. The first and foremost thing is lack of recall. What does it mean? The moment you are done with the question paper and you are discussing with your colleagues, with your friends, and then you realize, oh my God, I knew this. But when it comes to the exam, I forgot to do the right approach. If you are falling in this category, it means your preparation is still need more focus, more attention. There is an issue, isn't it? So if you comes in this category, lack of recall, make sure next test you write with better preparation. The second error which you commit during the exam is the conceptual mistake. Conceptual mistake means you are reading a question, again you are reading a question, and then you are moving to next question. You tried your level best, you are unable to get any relevant formula, any relevant approach. It means there is a conceptual mistake. And conceptual mistake means you need to immediately connect with your faculty or whatever videos you people are having related to this particular concept. Get it clear. I'm telling you the possible errors and their best possible answers as well. And last but not the least, the type of mistake which you commit is the mathematical error. Mathematical error. You were about to do the integration for a particular element and you could not take the right limits. Generally it happens in the topics like center of mass, electrostat, where you need to work on the rigid bodies, isn't it? We sometimes commit that mistake. Calculating the center of mass of a rigid body, finding the moment of inertia of a rigid body, calculating the electric field inside the conductor at a certain distance, how to integrate. We commit that mistake. And only practice can help you to avoid this. So now onward, whatever test you people are writing, make sure against the every wrong attempted question, you are categorizing which type of mistake I am doing. Please do this. Imagine you have attempted 15 questions wrongly. Just imagine. Out of this 15 question, once you will categorize that out of 15, 5 questions come from lack of recall, 7 questions comes from conceptual mistake, and 3 questions comes from mathematical error. This analysis will not only give you the clarity what types of mistake you are doing, but also will give you a confidence that can I improve on these errors or not? And in some of the area, the answer would be yes. Can you improve your mathematical error? You have the solution. Yes or no? Can you improve lack of recall? Yes, we can be better prepared for the next exam. Conceptual mistake, I do understand. If you don't have access to teacher, you may be having the access to so many content, maybe the videos or maybe the textbook. Try to do this. But what I'm saying, some of the aspect you can still do this, right? So whatever test you write nowadays, please try to categorize the types of error, and against each error, try to mention what is the best possible solution so that I'm not repeating similar errors in the next exam, right? Previous year papers, I know you all have seen, you all have solved previous year papers. The reason why I'm talking previous year paper over here is the first and foremost thing that any question paper whenever we solve, first thing it should let you understand that what is the pattern of this exam. How many questions comes from, easy category, formula based, how many questions are being framed from application knowledge. Though in JEE main, this would be very, very less, very, very less, right? You need to have a very absolute preparation and the clarity on the surface learning, right? Clarity is very, very important, right? So pattern is very important. Second, recently NTA has done a little bit revision in the pattern of JEE exam. Like during COVID, you used to get, some optional questions which have been reduced now. So you must be very much familiar what is the pattern previous year, right? Second thing, it should tell you what is the percentage, right? What is the percentage of class 11th and class 12th syllabus is, right? Class 11th and class 12th percentage. It's a very important aspect. Some student I have seen, they are damn confident in during 12th class syllabus, whereas when it comes to 11th, they always seeks for further support, right? So have a good balance out of it, right? So previous year question, and ultimately it helps you to think about new possibility, to think about new possibilities. This is very, very important. If you are able to reach this level, it means you can even predict that out of this concept, what can be the further concept which can be asked in the exam. So previous year, solving previous year question paper is just not an activity. It is way beyond. It will help you to understand the pattern, a good balance between 11th and class 12 syllabus. And last but not the least, it will even help you to understand the new possibility of that particular concept or question, right? And last but not the least, your surrounding. As I mentioned in the beginning, at this point of time, you are surrounded with so many people, those who comes with lot of inputs, right? Lot of suggestions and lot of new plans. And one stop solution for all this, you would say, no. I respect your suggestion. I respect your inputs, but this is the time where I'm having already a strategy, a very crystal clear plan. I may adopt your suggestion maybe in future, but not at this point of time. So your surrounding has to have the people, either they have this similar goal as of yours, or they have a good inputs and good contribution in your day-to-day life. So I believe these inputs will certainly help you to prepare last 30 days strategy for JEE 2025. Remember, you have been working so hard to face this exam, to clear this exam. Just 1 month preparation can take your level of preparation, your level of confidence to the next level. And I believe after attending this session, the confidence, the clarity is gonna be at the next level. So wishing you all the very best for JEE 2025. Thank you so much.